Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Diversion Authority Finance Committee meeting for July 26, 2023. Don, would you please call the order? Roll, please.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney. Mr. Peterson.
I am here.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Redlinger. Mr. Grimberg.
Here.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mr. Reeds. Ms. Madriga.
Here.
And quorum is present.
Thank you, Don. Item number 2 is the approve the minutes of June 21st, 2023. They are in your packets. They have been distributed, and they are on page 3.
Steen moves to approve.
Thank you.
Peterson second.
Thank you, Commissioner Peterson, for the second. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of June 21st as distributed. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve the order of the agenda. Again, it has been distributed.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor. Carlson, is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Peterson, second. Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 4 is the approval of the bills. We'll call on Susan Thompson, City of West Fargo. It's on page 5 of the packet.
Thank you. I'm borrowing Chad's computer. We are presenting the bills for the month of July. They are all routine bills in nature. The total is $1,421,545.
Is there any questions from Ms. Thompson? Any questions? This is an actionable item.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Pipcorn. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Peterson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the bills as presented by Susan Thompson. Don, would you please call a roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger. Okay. Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That's a simple one.
Thank you, Don. Item number 5 is the finance report. Again, we call on Susan Thompson for that report. It's on page 18 of the packet.
Hello. Yes, this is the report for the month ending June 30th. We have total assets of $175,384,838. Liabilities of $352,462. So a net position of $175,032,376.
Questions with regarding to our net position finance statement? Can I have a motion, please?
Just a comment.
Please.
I think everybody should have been able to pick up a revised copy of the proposed or the disbursements. Just to change what's in the packet we received in the email.
Thank you, Mr. Steen.
Move to approve with the changes noted.
Thank you, Mr. Steen. I have a motion with the changes noted. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Mayor Carlson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the finance report as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6 is the Executive Director's Financial Report. We call on Mr. Joel Paulson. It's on page 49 of the packet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Finance Committee. I'll start today with the annual revenue status for the month. You can see there the Fargo and county sales taxes continue to come in as anticipated. We also had a SRF draw for about $2 million. And a small amount of financing proceeds. So total revenues for the month at $8.3 million. fiscal year to date at about $50 million in relation to our $233 million budget. Moving over to the cost side of things, really nothing too concerning here again this month. We continue to track, some of our larger expenditure areas as the Channel P3, the lands and mitigation, and of course the MOUs. You may be asking the question, we're halfway through the year, but we are not halfway through the budget yet. I think there are some big items still coming with MOUs and, of course, lands and impacted mitigation in the last half of the year. So I do not think we'll be significantly under budget, but I feel pretty well as far as where we're tracking at this point in the year. I won't dig down into the level 2 detail unless there's any questions from the committee. Again, everything appears to be on budget for the year. We do have a cash budget change request that I'll go over on a different item, but really there's no change in the overall dollar amount that we're looking at. So moving into the Diversion Authority operations, public staff here, things look good. We're halfway through the year, halfway through the budget. Don't see any inconsistencies related to expenses or salary. So with that, Mr. Chairman, certainly open for any questions on the report.
Any questions regarding the
Mr. Chairman.
Director's financial report? Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Paulson, as you alluded to regarding percentage, usually percentage of billing is percentage of construction. Is there any chance that we're falling behind schedule, or is this just simply billing delays?
No, I mean, we are in the project baseline schedule for the P3 developer. We are anticipating potential milestones towards the end of this year, but as of yet, we wouldn't have had any of those anyway. So I don't see any significant schedule changes on that side. MOUs and third-party relocations, those sorts of things are as anticipated. So no major concerns there.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson.
Yeah.
Any additional questions? This is a non-actionable item for information only, so we'll move on to item number 7, which is the 2023 cash budget change request. Again, we'll call on Mr. Joel Paulson. It's on page 56 of the packet through 58. Mr. Paulson.
Okay, thank you, Chair Dardis. So we had talked in a previous meeting, and it was approved, the Aon insurance payment for this year. And so we had known that we were going to need to do a budget change request to accommodate that. And John could answer any questions as far as timing of that insurance product, but that was not anticipated to hit the books this year. So, however, we did need to pay it. So what we did is we went and looked at 2 budget areas that we believe will be a bit under budget this year, one being the channel utility relocations for BNSF, as well as in-town 37-foot project related to the City of Fargo's work plan. So we're proposing to reduce the cash budget in those 2 areas that more than likely won't hit this year, and then increase the cash budget for the insurance payment. And basically we would keep the cash budget identical to what was originally approved. All of these items, of course, will happen in different years. So the work that we're taking out of BNSF and the in-town projects would just transfer over to next year, according to the City of Fargo's work plan, as well as the BNSF utility relocations. And then, of course, the insurance payment was in our overall budget, but we had not anticipated the timing of it to occur this year. So really overall, from a financial plan standpoint, there's no changes. It's really just a fiscal accounting for the annual cash budget.
Thank you. Questions? Mr. Steen.
Just so I understand, Joel, so even with the significant increase in the 23 budget for the insurance, that $5.5 million adjustment, that's not going to continue to carry over to the total budget, or is this an impact on the total budget of $5.5 million? That overall this is going to be more?
No, so we had anticipated that the cost of the insurance product in the overall budget. We just did not anticipate that insurance product hitting the books this year. And so if it would have hit next year, of course, we would have included the amount in the 24 cash budget. But just in order to balance the cash budget for this year, to have better tracking, we're suggesting that we take from these two areas that we know more than likely we're not going to do this year, and we'll include in next year's budget, and then change the insurance product from maybe next year into this year's budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions? This is an actionable item.
Steen moves to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pipcorn seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the cash budget change request as outlined by Mr. Paulson on page 58 and 56 of the packet. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Don, would you please call a roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
yes,
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
yes,
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 8, we have a placeholder for Diversion Authority Board approval contracting actions. We have none at this time, so we'll move on to item number 9. Item number 9 is the MOUs and agreements. We'll call on Mr. John Shockley, attorney for the Diversion Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the Finance Committee. Have a relatively easy action for the board today. It is amendment number 1 to the Cass County and Metro Flood Diversion Authority MOU. We're adding an amendment to reflect changes to frontage roads in section 604. These have been changes that have been made in the technical requirements of the project agreement. That's the P3 agreement. There are no costs associated with this amendment. Rather, it's conforming the MOU to the technical requirements set forth in the project agreement. Happy to answer any questions, but it's a pretty straightforward amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Questions? Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Mr. Shockley, thank you. This confused me, I'll be honest with you, when I first read this. So we're not going down in quality, all we're simply, this is a housekeeping issue, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I read this completely different until you said what you said, so thank you very much.
Additional questions?
move to approve,
Thank you, Mayor Carlson. Is there a second, please?
Steen seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Steen. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the MOUs outlined by Mr. Shockley, the technical requirement? Any further discussion? Don, would you please call a roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
yes,
Ms. Johnson.
yes,
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
yes,
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 10, other business. We have a number of items. We're going to call to the microphone Mr. Tom Fuchs of Houston Engineering. Please.
Thank you, Mayor Dardis, members of the committee. Before us is a recommendation to reject and rebid work package 47A utility relocations. Bids were received June 11th. Border States Paving was the sole bidder. Their bid was $2.2 million. Engineers estimate $927,000. So basis of the rejection is 239. It was 239% of the engineer's estimate, the one bid that was received. We are also making a recommendation to rebid the work associated with work package 47A and actually split out the utility relocations, wet and dry, in those two packages. 47A was a combined package, and so that's consistent with some of the feedback we got from plan holders that made 47A less attractive, and then also some more schedule flexibility in the two separate bids. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? All right. This is an actionable item, this one here, that we reject this bid.
I'll move to reject.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rendinger. Thank you, Mr. Peterson. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dirtis.
Yes?
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Please continue, Mr. Fuchs. Do you want to talk about the other thing? Oh, my apologies. That's for Joel. Please, Mr. Paulson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tom, you can talk about it if you'd like. So we've included the summary from Eide Bailey related to the annual audit. There were two findings that were expressed by Eide Bailey. We did submit to Eide Bailey corrective actions for those findings. Nothing too significant, but certainly something that we want to address, and we have those in your packet. I think we could probably have John and Paul, answer any questions related to those findings because they were related to my role and my position. So certainly open it up for the committee if you guys have any comments or questions about the findings.
Any questions whatsoever? We have Mr. Barthol stepping to the microphone. Paul?
Just wanted to give the committee the opportunity to review the findings and the audit. What we have done previously with this is included it as information, as we have this month, and allow you to digest it, look into it, and then if necessary, if you'd like us to, we can bring a representative from Eide Bailey to present it at the next Finance Committee meeting. So don't feel like you have to have all your questions answered today.
Thank you, sir. Anyone? Any questions with regard to financial audit? No? That concludes our business for the day. Our next meeting is August 23rd. Does anybody from the Finance Committee have anything they'd like to bring forward at this time? Does any staff have anything that they'd like to bring forward at this time? With that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.